Today we will be looking at the structural anatomy of a neuron. The neuron is a nerve cell and is the basic building block of the nervous system.
Categories of the nervous system: the central and peripheral nervous systems. The central nervous system includes the brain and spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system includes all types of nerves that branch off from the spinal cord, which connects to the brain, including spinal and cranial nerves.
But before we get into that, let's look at the basic anatomy of a neuron.
The neuron itself has many parts. Like all cells, it has a cell body and nucleus.
The long central extension from the cell body is called the axon and is surrounded by a protective layer of fatty tissue known as the myelin sheath.
PNS and CNS cells both have myelin sheaths, but they are made of different materials and behave different ways.
Branching off of the axon are terminal fibers known as axon branches.
At the end of these terminal fibers are axon terminals, club-like endings that form one half of the synaptic cleft, the space between two communicating neurons.
Sort of like a cell phone charger in the plug-in on a cell phone, the terminal end of an axon branch of a neuron is convex and fits into the concave space created by the dendrite of another neuron.
If dendrites receive messages towards the neuron cell body, then axon transmit messages away from the neuron cell body.
That's right. Essentially, axons speak, dendrites listen.
Neurons are classified into many different categories based on their function and structure.
There are afferent or sensory neurons, which communicate from the PNS to the CNS. Skin and joint nerves, skeletal muscle nerves, or visceral organs. They perceive a variety of sensory information, like taste, sight, pressure, and more.
There are efferent or motor neurons which communicate from the CNS to the PNS, affecting glands, organs, and muscles. They affect motor responses.
Third type of neuron is interneurons that make the connection between afferent and efferent neurons.
Structurally, there are multipolar neurons that have several processes that extend from the cell body. Polar neurons that have two processes off of the cell body. And unipolar neurons that have axons that can both give and receive impulses.
All neurons, regardless of their structural or functional classification, are incredibly fragile, and few are able to undergo mitosis. This means they need to have a high degree of support and protection.
PNS and CNS neurons are protected in different ways. PNS neurons are protected by a myelin sheath formed by Schwann cells. Schwann cells have two important features: the neurolemma, or the outer husk between the cytoplasm of the Schwann cell and the axon fiber, and the nodes of Ranvier, tiny gaps between each Schwann cell that helps to increase the speed of action potential 30 times faster than without.
PNS neurons, CNS neurons have a myelin sheath, but it is made up of oligodendrocytes, specialized cells that wrap around as many as 60 different neuron fibers at the same time. Without oligodendrocytes, an action potential could travel up to 30 times slower.
CNS cells are protected by nerve glue, known as neuroglia. Neuroglia includes many different types of cells. These are called astrocytes, microglial cells, ependymal cells, and aforementioned oligodendrocytes.
Astrocytes, star-shaped glial cells in the brain which brace and anchor the neuron to their nutrient supply lines.
Microglia are spider-like phagocytes that dispose of debris. Ependymal cells line the brain and spinal cavities to circulate cerebrospinal fluid that cushions the CNS.
Cells in the PNS are the aforementioned Schwann cells and protective cushioning cells known as satellite cells.
Of these glial cells not only protect but also help in optimizing brain functions.